What's going on, people? It's your boy Travis, Horror Movies Uncut, Submissions and Slashers, episode number 65. How you doing today on this wonderful Saturday? It is September the 7th. While you may be watching some college football, maybe out running some errands, your little ones might be playing soccer. We appreciate you being here with us. Now, of course, this is not live. One day I do hope to get there, but I can't do that shit if I don't have like the producers and all that shit set up with me, because that stuff is very, very hard to do in regards to managing the comments and all the stuff that kind of comes with the territory with that. But we are super happy you're here with us for episode number 65. As always, please make sure you follow us on everything we have social media. That's TikTok, Instagram, and of course X at HMUNCUT. And get us on YouTube and Spotify at Submissions and Slashers. Of course, you can go to the #1 platform to get all the news, interviews, and the latest reviews of all the independent horror films, action films, sci-fi, genre films you need to know about, and that's at Horror Movies Uncut, HMUNCUT.com. As always, people, we are happy that you're here with us for episode number 65. We're going to jump in, jump out like we normally do, and we got some of the classics, some of the favorites, some of the things that we like to bring to the table for this episode. But first and foremost, what you need to know on today's episode is that we got 2 reviews for you. If you've been paying attention to the website within the last 48 hours, you might have an idea of what those 2 films are. We're going to be reviewing Brandy's new film, which is that A24 film from the Eggers Boys, The Front Room. And we're also going to talk about the new film from Jeremy Saulnier, and that is just released on Netflix. A lot of people watched it last night, including myself. That's that new action thriller from the people that brought us one of my classics, Blue Ruin, Rebel Ridge. We cannot wait to talk to you guys about that film as well. What else do we have going on the episode? Let me show you. We're going to be doing, our part 2 coverage of our Fantastic Fest Films preview. We're going to be covering 2 more films in this part 2 out of 4 series. We will be returning with a little weird news of last week, and I got to go off on some fruit people, or some people that's kind of disrespecting fruit. It's the best way to say it. We got action film to see in theaters for you guys to check out, which is kind of great because it's also kind of a great indie film for you guys to check out as well. And then we do have our indie film shout out from Below the Grave. So what we are going to do is hop out, come right back in, give you guys our thoughts on the first film. And that's the one that's in theaters right now, A24, The Front Room. And then we'll continue on from there. Yo, check it out, people. Creep Street, what's good in the house, man? You know how we do, Demon City, Demon Life. I'll be tagging these guys so you know where to get these hats. I'm bringing some of these down to Fantastic Fest too. So if you are watching the podcast, if you're on the social channels, make sure you look for some of the messages that I post. And it's not going to be no long leg shit, man. I'm just going to be like, yo, I'm at this Mezcal bar. If you want one of these hats, bring your ass over here right now and buy me a shot. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we'll be back with episode number 65. Don't you go nowhere. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and leave something down in the comments. Hit a thumbs up, please, because that is that one free thing that you can always do. Don't go anywhere. Good people, welcome back. Episode number 65, Submissions and Slashers. Your boy Travis from the illustrious family known as Horror Movies Uncut. And we are talking about the new film, The Front Room. Okay, comes from Max and Sam Eggers. Now, the reason why you know that last name is because they are tied in with films like The Lighthouse, the black and white, very atmospheric film that starred William Dafoe that horror fans love. Okay. Now, for some people, that film's very, very hard to watch, myself included. When that film was sent to me very, very early in its inception, took me a couple times to watch it because it's a film you do need to watch at a certain time of day, or, I mean, sorry, the snooze can possibly come on. And it's not a terrible film by any means, but it's just the way that these guys are able to draw you into their world. They do a fantastic job, and that's why The Lighthouse can be a tough watch for some people. So I was very, very excited, but yet also curious and kind of pushed back a little bit when I saw they were attached to this film. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to say. I apologize to Brandy because I should have gave a little bit more respect to her in our review for this film, The Front Room. The reason why is because it's so hard not to focus on what else, the elephant in the room and the performance that she gives that we'll talk about later, that I just kind of glossed over Brandy's performance. So even before, for those of you who don't know what the film is about, I talk about that. I just wanted to say that her performance in this film is great. And it's a reminder, which I do say in the TikTok review that I did, it is a reminder that this woman does have a lot of great acting ability. Okay. So in The Front Room, we find a young couple who has, I mean, life is just hitting them like they are so many people right now, right? And they have kind of this chance to come across some money that's going to be life-changing, but the only way that they're going to get this money is if they move in the stepmother of the husband. And this couple's interracial, and there is, from the start, you see it from the trailer, you kind of get an understanding, even when you see what Brandy's going through in other capacities of the film, that it's a film that's really just kind of showing how societies always try to put Black women, especially young, intelligent Black women, in a certain box. And it's completely unfair. So bravo and applaud for the Eggers boys for doing this. And then you bring in the performances by not only Brandy, but Andrew, and then, of course, Catherine Hunter. And it's taken to a different level, because one of the reasons why I can see this film not doing so great in theaters with certain people is because it really does push a lot of boundaries of films you would have seen very, very popular in what I like to call those like Chitlin Circuit, Southern Fried, like late 60s, 70s days, where people were not afraid to use the N-word. People were not afraid to say color. They were just not afraid to truly show how despicable people were or still are at these times. So the biggest thing that I'll give The Front Room credit for is it's not shying away from showing how terrible people with this mind frame could be. Because how often do we get this apologist theory on, oh, well, you know, those people just came from a different time, or they just didn't know any better, and all that bullshit, where at the end of the day, we know that these people knew exactly what they were doing in regards to the persecution of people of color. So the crazy thing about The Front Room is they bring that to a light that's also funny, and it's very, very reminiscent to us of something you would find in an exploitation film. And for us, that's kind of bold to do in 2024 going into 2025. So that's why we gave it a 3 out of 5 when a lot of people didn't, because we thought this film was daring, and that's something you don't see. And here's the thing. Go back and watch those films. One of the main arguments you'll see about The Front Room is that the story is kind of pointless. It is, but it isn't, because there's a whole underlying thing that sets the point. And I know a lot of people may not be able to understand that, but I think if they go back and they watch exploitation films, things like that, that really involve some of these heavier racial terms where they were not afraid, very unapologetic on their approaches, the more raw, visceral approach that people always talk about, you'll get a chance to see where the mind frame comes, I feel, to write a film and make a film like The Front Room. So I applaud them for being bold and daring and going after this. And I'm sorry, Catherine Hunter's performance is just hands down legendary. It's going to be hard to find any villain that's going to top this in anything. Let me know what you thought about the film in the comments. Like I said, here at Horror Movies Uncut, we gave it a 3 out of 5, which definitely means you should go see it. It's funny as hell. It's a great throwback representation of that exploitation films from the 70s that so many people loved, including your Tarantinos and whatnot. And it's something that I feel like is a completely step away from what you're expecting from the Eggers. So I love that as well. All right. We will be back to talk about Rebel Ridge, which came out on Netflix. It's a completely different film, but also involving some of the same things, some of the same themes, right? We'll talk about that when we come back. Episode 65, Submissions and Slashers. Welcome back. Episode number 65, Submissions and Slashers. We're going to jump into some weird news from last week. All right. So I was driving to the gym and I was listening to this podcast that I listened to. Big shout out, man. I'll give them a shout out. Morning Brew podcast. I mean, it's like an NPR podcast, but I think they do a good job. And they talked about, so there's this social media craze. Now, here's the thing. I need to see if this is happening in America because I got to feel like it's got to have leaked here, but I got to check and see. So it mostly popped off in Spain, and where it really popped off is in the city of Bilbao. So a big shout out to Athletic Bilbao. If you follow the Euros this past summer, Nico Williams, that's the squad he plays for. Was supposedly in this store called Mercadona or Mercadona. They were overwhelmed because there is this TikTok craze where if you go into this particular chain between 7 and 8 o'clock at night and you buy a pineapple and you flip your pineapple upside down, or I guess you walk around with an upside down pineapple, that means like you're available. Now, supposedly there's some other things that have popped up too. Like if you hold it a certain sideways, that means you might be in a relationship possibly. And like, I don't know. And it's open. I don't know. So this reminds me, I remember when I had a client tell me that there's a very, very popular gym. And I'm not going to call them out because the motherfuckers will sue my ass. And they got my credit card information on file somewhere, right? So there's a very, very popular gym that has a cafe. I just completely gave it away too, right? And if you go to the cafe and you sit down, like I think it was like the type of smoothie you ordered, if you had like a certain newspaper and it was like folded a certain way. And I think another one was like if you had your phone out, like, and it was on the table in a certain way. And these were all signals of your, you being available. Maybe you're taken but available. Maybe you're taken but curious. All boring ass rich people fucking games. Like shit's lame as a motherfucker. Fake fucking freak shit. You know what I mean? Eyes wide, fake ass shut shit. So now you got this craze going on where this damn store had to call the cops. And the funny thing is the minute, like, this is when you know it's fucked up. The minute the cops showed up, everybody burnt out like they were at some fucking house party and they're 14 and somebody brought a keg. You know what I mean? Why are you running from a grocery store? And where are you running to? Because usually when you go out, I've never been to this chain of grocery stores. I've never been to the city of Bilbao. I would love to go there. Definitely want to go to Villarreal beforehand because that's where my boys are. But I'm sure they got a parking lot, maybe. I feel like there's some ways to park. So they said between 7 and 8, a shitload of people came into this store and just started flipping They're goddamn pineapples upside down. Now, here's where I really run into some motherfucking issues, dog. Now, this is when demon time shows up. You fucking fruit freaks. Leave them fucking pineapples alone, man. You know how good pineapples are for your immune system? All allergies and shit. Now you got your little punk ass tender fingers all over them. Get your little swipey, dirty ass swipe fingers all over them. Nice, beautiful pineapples. Fuck is wrong with you? You fake fuck fruit fucks. I told you, man, it's a demon time. I love pineapples. Pineapples is like one of the deadliest goddamn fruits to me because I am so allergic to like high levels of like citric acidity in fruits that like I have to eat an orange like I'm trying to steal from them. Like you know what I mean? Like I have to eat an orange one at a time. Like I have to sneak up on the motherfucker to eat it. I'm like, hey, you ain't even much. Don't even watch this. I'm just gonna do this real quick. You know? But these fucking fake fruit fucks coming in to the store, flipping fucking pineapples upside down. So you can say you single because dating apps don't work no more? Get the hell out of here. First off, dating apps ain't never worked. All right. Now, have there been people that have found success stories, gotten married, children, stuff like that? Sure. There's also people who do that are homeless and own heroin. You know what I mean? That don't mean shit. But what I will say is to all you fake fucking fruit fucks, leave them pineapples alone. Ain't got shit to do with y'all. All right? Now, if that's not some weird ass fucking news, and like I said, man, I'm about to see, I'm end up going down a rabbit hole later. I'm gonna have me like one or two adult beverages, and then I'm gonna go down a damn rabbit hole because I know what's going on here. I'm gonna walk up at Whole Foods one day. And there's gonna be some fake fucking fruit fuck flipping his fucking pineapple upside down, and I'm gonna kick his cart over. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Just meet a woman at a bar, like we all had to. Weirdos, fucking fake fruit fuck, weirdo fucks. Leave them damn pineapples alone. All right, shit. This is worse than the fucking milk crate challenge. Remember that stupid shit? Remember we had to talk about that stupid shit? People walking on milk carts, fucking breaking their fucking ass. Now we got these fake fruit fucks inside of here. Oh my God, man. I hate y'all. I hate all of y'all. Leave our fucking pineapples alone. Fake fucking fruit fucks. All right, man. I can't say anything else about that. I got to get out of that. I got to go drink some water so I can come back and talk to you guys about two more films to look forward to. So we're going to be talking about this film, Grazer, and then we're going to be talking about VHS Beyond when we come back, episode number 65, Submissions Slashers. Don't you go anywhere, you fake fruit fucks. What's going on, people? Welcome back. Submissions and Slashers, episode number 65. Once again, big shout out to the peeps out in California, Creep Street. Make sure you hit them up on their website, man. We be creeping all night long on that website. Get you some merchandise. I'm going to be down at Fantastic Fest with some of their merchandise. Come see me, get free shit. You know what I mean? Come see me, right? All right. Speaking about like a come see me moment, one of the things that action films will never be able to get away from, like think about how like horror films will never be able to get away from slashers. Supernatural ghost films, right? Sci-fi films will never be able to get away from aliens or telekinetic powers or something like that, right? One of the things that I love about action films, and it makes me want to write one, and I might be writing one, maybe a little bit different, is that kind of walking tall one man army theory, right? Where it's just always the one stranger or person that doesn't belong, or which one of these don't look like us. And what do we see? We see the one man going against this army. And it's always such a fun time and such a great movie if it's executed well. And it's kind of hard to find some of those movies that aren't executed well. There's just countless classics that you can think of, from, like I said earlier, the Walking Talls to any of the like Escape from LA or New York movies from back in the day, to even thinking of something like a Big Top Pee-wee. You know what I mean? You can always find in some shape, form, or fashion that whole theory of the enough is enough, and now it's time for us to unleash hell, right? So a film that's unleashing hell on Netflix right now is Rebel Ridge from Jeremy Saulnier. And look, this filmmaker, Green Room, Ruins, ESPN notifications that always like to come in for some reason whenever I'm doing this, but it is Saturday. Got to turn those off when it's Saturday. And Michigan's getting their ass whooped. It's over here on the other side of me. I don't even want to pay attention to it. So anyway, Rebel Ridge on Netflix is so much in the world of what you expect from Jeremy after seeing films like Green Room and Blue Ruin. The performance by Aaron Pierre, Don Johnson, the young lady Anna Sophia Robb, the young black lady Zay, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. Jay. It is Zane. Yeah, it's a film that I think is a great film to watch this time of year, right before we get into the madness of the supernatural and everything that's going on. I mean, big shout out to everyone that went out and saw Beetlejuice. More than likely, I'm gonna be calling my son here shortly to see if he wants to see it sometime this week. If he doesn't, no skin off my back. I got like 9 other films I got to watch before I get ready to go down to Texas. I'm sure I'll see Beetlejuice somewhere like along the run. But what I will say is it's great that you have a film that you can watch at home right now, like Rebel Ridge, because this is a film that could have been and probably should have been in theaters. And I'm not really on that train of like, all movies need to be in theaters, because I just am aware of the climate where we are in this world, man. People are on their phones more than they're in theaters. People are in their phones in theaters. You know what I mean? So, um, if you do get a chance to see something that's at home, what we have seen in this new streaming world is that has legs to carry, and and it will spark a lot of conversation. Now, the goofy thing is when you're Netflix kind of shoots itself in the foot, because it will actually put something else on that a lot of people want to watch, like whatever that monkey documentary shit is. And that shit supposedly happened not too far from here because we're in Missouri. Or they're like they're following. I don't know. One of my clients was telling me about that. I don't watch that shit, man. Like if I want to watch monkeys and people, I just watch Planet of the Apes and I call it a day. But with Rebel Ridge, you are actually getting to see one of those Noir, good old-fashioned black thriller crime, what I like to call almost like straight direct Southern style, not necessarily has to be based in a Southern area, but like a Southern style type of thriller. And that's something that you expect from Jeremy Saulnier. While I will not say it is as good as Blue Ruin, as Green Room, those movies made me watch them again instantly. I don't necessarily have that feeling with this, but I do feel like I will watch it again, and I do feel like it's worth the acknowledgement and the praise and the shout out for people to see, because what it does is it reminds you that writers are very, very important. And the filmmakers who are also writers, they understand how important it is to allow your stories to develop, because they are going to build not only the intensity of the characters, but they're going to also build that lasting impression that you walk away from the film with. And there is so much to walk away out of Rebel Ridge in the first like 5 minutes of the film, because similar to The Front Room, and this is kind of the parallel we were trying to make earlier, it becomes that kind of racial thing where, it kind of starts off as like, is this really just a movie that's going to be about black and white? But then, as you can see, even in Rebel Ridge, the young lady that plays Jess, Zane Jay, she's black. And whatever side you want to put her on in the movie, Serpico. That's going to be kind of up to you. But I think it rounds out fairly well, but also fairly unbelievable, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't dissatisfied with the ending. I didn't jump away from it being like, man, come on, that's straight bullshit. But there was a lot of moments throughout the film that I was like, okay, I don't know if we can continue doing that. But still, we gave it a 4 out of 5, which is high marks here at Horror Movies Uncut, primarily because of the overall production, because that's what gives us the high marks. Films that are very well written, usually 3 to 3.5. Films that are shot very well, 3 to 3.5. Whenever we touch in the 4 and above, what we're trying to say is we thoroughly enjoyed the presentation from start to finish. Not only the execution of what the actors were doing in their respective parts, but how the entire course of the film was being fed to us. Because to me, that's how I like to look at it. It's like, how is this being fed to me? Do I feel like I'm getting rushed to eat this meal? Do I feel like I'm being slowed down to eat this meal? Or is this meal coming to me just right? And that's what was going on in Rebel Ridge. So we hope you guys get a chance to see it. It's on Netflix. I don't know why you wouldn't. Can watch it right after the monkey shit if you need to. But that's pretty much up to you and the people in your household. We feel like this stands alone and it can be watched. And if you've never seen any of Jeremy's films, please go watch like everything. And make sure you watch the rest of the show. We're going to jump out and we're going to come back in. What we need to do is some weird news of last week, because somehow the editing of last week's episode cut out the weird news. So we're going to do that before we get into that part 2 of the Fantastic Fest preview. And then, as normal, boom, we'll round out the show. So we appreciate you people. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you are watching this on YouTube. Subscribe if you're listening on Spotify. Getting those back updated on Spotify. Look for my homies at Creep Street. And then we'll be back. Submissions and Slashers, episode number 65. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Episode number 65, Submissions and Slashers. We're going to jump into some weird news from last week. All right. So I was driving to the gym and I was listening to this podcast that I listened to. Big shout out, man. I'll give them a shout out. Morning Brew podcast. I mean, it's like an NPR podcast, but I think they do a good job. And they talked about, so there's this social media craze. Now, here's the thing. I need to see if this is happening in America, because I got to feel like it's got to have leaked here, but I got to check and see. So it mostly popped off in Spain, and where it really popped off is in the city of Bilbao. So big shout out to Athletic Bilbao. If you follow the Euros this past summer, Nico Williams, that's the squad he plays for. Was supposedly in this store called Mercadona or Mercadona. They were overwhelmed because there is this TikTok craze where if you go into this particular chain between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, and you buy a pineapple and you flip your pineapple upside down, or I guess you walk around with an upside down pineapple, that means like you're available. Now, supposedly there's some other things that have popped up too. Like if you hold it a certain sideways, that means you might be in a relationship possibly. And like, I don't know. And it's open. I don't know. So this reminds me, I remember when I had a client tell me that there's a very, very popular gym, and I'm not going to call them out because the motherfuckers will sue my ass. And they got my credit card information on file somewhere, right? So there's a very, very popular gym that has a cafe. I just completely gave it away too, right? And if you go to the cafe and you sit down, like the type of, I think it was like the type of smoothie you ordered, if you had like a certain newspaper and it was like folded a certain way. And I think another one was like if you had your phone out, like, and it was on the table in a certain way. And these were all signals of your, you being available. Maybe you're taken but available. Maybe you're taken but curious. All boring ass rich people fucking games. Like you shit's lame as a motherfucker. Fake fucking freak shit. You know what I mean? Eyes wide, fake ass shut shit. So now you got this craze going on where this damn store had to call the cops. And the funny thing is the minute, like, this is when you know it's fucked up. The minute the cops showed up, everybody burnt out like they were at some fucking house party and they're 14 and somebody brought a keg. You know what I mean? Why are you running from a grocery store? And where are you running to? Because usually when you go out, I've never been to this chain of grocery stores. I've never been to the city of Bilbao. I would love to go there. Definitely want to go to Villa Real beforehand because that's where my boys are. But I'm sure they got a parking lot, maybe. I feel like there's some ways to park. So they said between 7 and 8, a shitload of people came into this store and just started flipping their goddamn pineapples upside down. Now, here's where I really run into some motherfucking issues, dog. Now, this is when demon time shows up. You fucking fruit freaks. Leave them fucking pineapples alone, man. You know how good pineapples are for your immune system? All allergies and shit. Now you got your little punk ass tender fingers all over them. Get your little swipey, dirty ass swipe fingers all over them. Nice, beautiful pineapples. Fuck is wrong with you? You fake fuck fruit fucks. I told you, man, it's a demon time. I love pineapples. Pineapples is like one of the deadliest goddamn fruits to me because I am so allergic to like high levels of like citric acidity in fruits that like I have to eat an orange like I'm trying to steal from them. Like you know what I mean? Like I have to eat an orange one at a time. Like I have to sneak up on the motherfucker to eat it. I'm like, hey, you ain't even much. Don't even watch this. I'm just gonna do this real quick. You know? But these fucking fake fruit fucks coming in to the store, flipping fucking pineapples upside down. So you can say you single because dating apps don't work no more? Get the hell out of here. First off, dating apps ain't never worked. All right? Now, have there been people that have found success stories, gotten married, children, stuff like that? Sure. There's also people who do that are homeless and own heroin. You know what I mean? That don't mean shit. But what I will say is to all you fake fucking fruit fucks, leave them pineapples alone. Ain't got shit to do with y'all. All right. Now, if that's not some weird ass fucking news, and like I said, man, I'm about to see, I'm end up going down a rabbit hole later. I'm gonna have me like one or two adult beverages, and then I'm gonna go down a damn rabbit hole because I know what's going on here. I'm gonna walk up at Whole Foods one day. And there's gonna be some fake fucking fruit fuck flipping his fucking pineapple upside down, and I'm gonna kick his cart over. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Just meet a woman at a bar, like we all had to. Weirdos, fucking fake fruit fuck, weirdo fucks. Leave them damn pineapples alone. All right, shit. This is worse than the fucking milk crate challenge. Remember that stupid shit? Remember we had to talk about that stupid shit? People walking on milk carts, fucking breaking their fucking ass. Now we got these fake fruit fucks inside of here. Oh my God, man. I hate y'all. I hate all of y'all. Leave our fucking pineapples alone. Fake fucking fruit fucks. All right, man. I can't say anything else about that. I got to get out of that. I got to go drink some water so I can come back and talk to you guys about two more films to look forward to. So we're going to be talking about this film, Grazer, and then we're going to be talking about VHS Beyond when we come back, episode number 65, Submissions Slashers. Don't you go anywhere, you fake fruit fucks. Okay, people, a little bit of back-to-back here. We're going to talk about now two more films as we look at our preview of Fantastic Fest 2024, our part 4 series. We're giving you guys two films each episode that we are really, really looking forward to, and films that we're going to be given a little bit more exclusive coverage while we're at the festival. So that means these are going to be films that you'll see myself interviewing some of the people, the talent, and giving a lot of little exclusive tidbits while I'm in Texas, which so looking forward to. And it's a lot of work leading up to it, but I am making sure it's getting out there so that when I am there, because it's been a lot of work the last couple of years there. Where's all the journalists at? But anyway, Gazer is one of the films out of Metrograph Pictures that we're looking forward to covering and looking forward to keeping you guys in the information zone about. It's making its North American premiere, and it's involving this this condition called dyschronometria, which is kind of like very similar to dementia, but like a little earlier stage, I would say. And this particular condition causes people to just lose track with like a lot of amount of time, like hours and things can go by, and they would only think maybe minutes or something has gone by. So the film follows a young lady by the name of Frankie, who pretty much walks around looking in other people's windows, writing thoughts and saying them into this like cassette tape. And while she deals with this condition, it's hard for her to keep a job. It's hard for her to just have any type of resemblance of a normal life, but she does have a daughter, and her number one thing is to get this daughter back. So to do so, there's some money that's needed to happen, and the movie becomes now a heist film where she teams up with another woman, and the goal is to get this heist taken care of, but you find out that there's a little bit darker, more sinister things going on with the young lady that she's attached with. So hopefully we get the trailer or new trailer or something sent to us. We have a still that we put up on the website for Gazer. We know that this film is released by Metrograph Pictures. We don't know if we're supposed to tell you guys that. Probably not, but we did. And it's already been up on the website. How many people have looked at this? So that is one of the films that we are for sure making sure you guys keep an eye out for. Another one is one we know you guys already are keeping your eye out for, and that is VHS Beyond. Now, last time we were at Fantastic Fest, we talked to most of the filmmakers from the red carpet of the last VHS, but we also talked to the producers. And the main reasons why I wanted to talk to them is because I wanted to find out, jokingly, what was next for the VHS franchise. And, I remember saying, like, is you guys got like DVD coming out now or Blu-ray or video disc? Like, what are you guys doing? And they said, no, man, we're keeping this VHS thing going. And I was super excited to hear that, but also very surprised because I was like, well, what else could you guys do? And so what we have now is VHS Beyond, which is the 7th installment of the franchise. And similar to the last, it's going to be making its world premiere at Fantastic Fest and then zoop, making its way to Shudder for all of you guys to watch as well. It's a sci-fi themed VHS, which is probably the biggest difference from the other titles, because the other titles were either kind of looked at as random things all supporting one theme or various themes that really don't support anything. Whereas this one, they've come right out the bat and said this is mainly for our sci-fi audience. But with it being VHS, clearly it's for the sci-fi horror audience, right? Okay. So it's going to be streaming on platforms of Shudder. Now, the platform of Shudder, well, technically it's 2 platforms because it's AMC Plus or Shudder. And that's going to be October 4th. Now, this particular rendition of VHS, it's going to be, the segments are directed by Jordan Downey, Thanksgiving, The Headhunter, Christian and Justin Long. Justin Martinez, Southbound, super excited for his segment. Virat Pal and Kate Sagal. There's also a special presentation by Jay Cheel in this as well. So the trailer is out for this because with this already being picked up by Shudder, they have to get their schedule out because September going into October, it's like the busiest time for all these streaming platforms. We will dig in maybe 2 episodes and let you guys know our thoughts. We know that there's already been like Fangora. A bunch of people have already put out the list of like what's streaming on all the platforms. So we'll give our thoughts on maybe like a top 10, maybe 2 from all of them or 1 from all of them that we think you guys should check out, especially if it's something we're not seeing being mentioned. But in regards to the VHS Beyond, I would say probably the biggest surprise out of this is maybe Justin Long, but I mean, being in the amount of horror stuff that he's been in, it's not that surprising. So yeah, we're excited, man. There's probably about another, I would say 4, I'm lying. It's probably like 7 to 8 films that'll be getting a little bit more love on the website. But here on Submissions and Slashers, we got 2 more segments, and we'll be giving you guys 4 more films that we want you to keep an eye out for if you're going to be attending Fantastic Fest or some stuff coming out of Fantastic Fest. All right. So we're going to hop back in, hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us, all the social media platforms at Horror Movies Uncut. Follow our friends at Creep Street as well. Get freaky, get creepy with them. Creeping on a come up. You know how we get down. UFC Fight Night's about to start because I keep forgetting to turn off my notifications. But we'll be right back. Episode number 65 of the Submissions and Slashers podcast. Don't go anywhere. Okay, people, we are going to go ahead and wrap up the show with the final segment of Submissions and Slashers. As always, thank you for tuning in and checking out this episode. We are going to be talking about our big action film to see that's in theaters right now, which technically, I feel like the real action film to see is Rebel Ridge. We talked about that earlier in the show, but there is some stuff that's coming out pretty soon. And we want to give some love because not only is it going to be like select theaters, it came out Friday in select theaters. You'd have to go probably be living in LA or New York to see this. But most of us will get a chance to also see this this upcoming Tuesday, the 10th. And that is the Dark Star Pictures 70s inspired action thriller, Wineville. And it's from Brandy Roderick. She's former Baywatch talent. She was on Baywatch. And this is her feature film. And it's pretty much like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets The Last House on the Left, meets like Big Bad Mama and, a little bit of Starsky and Hutch. So it's kind of like your old school, like we talked about earlier, like the exploitation movie kind of theme, where these films kind of could really be in so many different categories. But we feel like get a chance to check this out. It looks a lot of fun. It's called Wineville. We have a feature about it on Horror Movies Uncut that you can check out right now. The other film, which is the indie film, shout out from Below the Grave. We jumped across the pond. And man, we're so thankful that our English audience has come back with a bang. We've been doing a lot of great coverage for Grimfest, Fright Fest, and just normal releases, which I enjoy so much. Bayview Entertainment, Summerhill Films, Tomcat Films. They have a film called Inherit the Witch that follows two twin siblings that head to this isolated portion where like one house is on one side of the ridge, the other house is on the other side of the ridge, and there's like this like potential inheritance of like a dark entity that connects the family together to both houses. And I don't know, man, it's a lot going on. And these houses are kind of like in Salem, so it's like in very witchcraft area. So it kind of seems like there's a lot of like Fall of the House of Usher type themes in here, Hatfield and McCoy type themes in here. But the name of the film is called Inherit the Witch. It's going to be available on UK and American platforms at the same time. So even though I am saying this from the UK standpoint, because that's what it was published on the website for, even on the article, you would see that we mentioned here in the States, you'll be able to get a chance to see this at the same time. And it looks great. It actually looks pretty good. We will probably not get a chance to see this though, because unfortunately, when we get so many films this close to the bigger festivals of TIFF and Fantastic Fest and Fantasia and all the stuff that's been going on, Fright Fest in UK, like we just talked about, it gets so hard to watch some of the movies that are heading out, but we want to make sure you guys are still abreast of them and you know what's going on. All right. So speaking of what's going on next episode of the Submissions and Slashers podcast, we will be back with part 3, where we dig in even a little bit more of 2 films you want to make sure you keep your eyes out for at Fantastic Fest. And one of them is a documentary too, that we feel is kind of revolutionary in regards to everything you see from all of us being at our home offices to studios to whatever, this viral content that we're all trying to create. And Jane Schonenberg they're connected to it. So it's some real deal shit. So we are looking forward to talking about that and so much more on the next episode of Submissions and Slashers podcast. That's going to do it for us today, people. We so happy you tuned in to this episode. Please make sure, give us that thumbs up. That's the free stuff we can ask for before we come after you for that money. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to find us on YouTube and Spotify under Submissions and Slashers. Find us on all our social media outlets at HMUNCUT. That's for Horror Movies Uncut, the family. Make sure you check out the extended family, Creep Street. Look for me down in Fantastic Fast with some free shit. But other than that, people, we are done. We are out.